Hello back. Hello back. A beautiful figure. A female in the sea. Sorry, she's not in the sea, but I've painted her in the sea. I've taken that figure and I think it's lovely. It's such a beautiful painting. I've painted it and I would like to draw it and see the results for you, for myself. It's amazing, very graceful gesture. Head, dress, hip, and bum here. And she's sitting on a balcony, kind of. And this is a shadow of her flesh tone, and then you have a hand here, beautiful here. Then you have a very graceful here, hand here coming all around, and then there, and then a little bit of shadow here. Now her shoulder, let me see, it's very little. The shoulder, it looks like the shoulder is higher, it's a lot higher, but it's actually, it's a little bit, a tiny bit higher, not a lot. That's golden ribbon here, and then you have it, and then you have all this. See, that's a nice model. You could have it at home. You could draw yourself. You could draw yourself in a dress like this. You can say to your family members, take a picture of you at the back. Male and female, both. Now that's her hair and ear. Now she's looking outwards. And that's her eyelid. That was too strong. This is a little bit less strong than that. And then you have this dress is very, 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 very dark. Actually, I should keep drawing it this way, because that's how the movement of the drapery turns up to go this way. It goes that way. And you have flesh tone. So a bit of a lighter tone than our Russian Academy man. It's a bit less stressful, let's put it this way. In a meaning that there's not much detail on the body and you're dealing here with drapery. So that's a really great exercise of combining a bit of nude and gesture. Well, it's more about gesture than anything else. A bit of nude and drapery, really. Spine. And her beautiful upper arm. It's an amazing painting. You'll see the picture. Neoclassic. It doesn't say who painted it, but you probably will find it on Pinterest easily if you look for it. And then you have her hand. Now, the elbow, I'm measuring the left elbow compared to the right hand. Yes, and there is a correlation. So the end of the left elbow moves, if you push it horizontally, then it goes right there. Okay. So I think I got it correctly there, somewhere here. Or maybe just push that a little bit further down. And then give her a little bit more. I find that a little bit short. Yes, it's a bit short. So let's move it down. So then I can justify it by moving the elbow down, basically. That's where she's sitting. We said a little bit off. Oh, let me sharpen the charcoal, willow charcoal, which is right here now. Sharpen the willow charcoal. And that gives me a very, very sharp edge. See? Good. Really good. Okay, now let's go back. Dark. That's the golden. Sorry, these are my neighbors. They're very noisy. And then you have hair. The darkest dark is the hair. And hair here. And a little bit of ear. Just to place the ear a little bit there. And then I think, yes, I can soften that. There we are. That's better. And then dark here. That's better as well. Okay, now let's jump around here and fixate this thing. Make it a little bit more solid, the shadows here, basically. And what do I mean by solid? Okay, contrast, blacks, more black, and also more secure lines. That's what it means in the drawing language, solid. So more straight lines, in the meaning that so they look convincing. That's another word for it. More convincing, although it might be wrong, as in the execution, the angle of it, but it's more convincing. It takes life on its own, basically. Doesn't have to be a precise representation of what we actually see there. Now, you might say to me, okay, well, why are you saying then that this is wrong compared to that? Yes, they can take life on its own, but also they need to be consistent. So if you do an exaggeration on this arm, make it bigger or smaller, then it needs to follow on the other side, which means this side, the right-hand side and the left. So they have to be consistent. Otherwise, it's seen that it was an accident. So it was not deliberate. Now, what I do sometimes, I will make it deliberately bigger for many reasons. Well, first of all, to be more expressive. Secondly, I want to be totally faithful on what I see, because that's not my goal. Although you can do that, you can do it as well if you stay there because you might be thinking you cannot do it. Could be sometimes, but it's not that I cannot do it, it's that it will require so much time, and then you go off the beaten path, you go somewhere else, then you go to academic drawings, which is fine, You see that shadow that I've done here, that's not in the picture. You will see it. But it's expressive. That's what I'm getting out of it, the expressiveness. I'm inspired by many artists, but the latest one, we've done him, we worked after him, Zin Lim. His brush stroke, always with brush stroke. His charcoal strokes are incredible. I mean, check it out, Zin Lim. Yes, some of you remember him. Doesn't really matter, basically. You can check it out now, and he's sell on Saatchi online and Saatchi, and yes, his lines are very expressive, and he's inspired me really. I'm thinking, look, it can be done. I mean, if it works on him, that doesn't mean I'm copying him. Well, I'm trying to copy him, but I will not succeed on copying, because it's a very personal language that he uses. Language, you know, inverted commas. It's his visual language. Of course, it is a language, but it's his language. So I cannot, by definition, I cannot copy him, but I can copy his treating of charcoal, how he treats charcoal, how he treats paper, and how he's so fearless, that's the word. And he's saying, well, it can be done. That's the proof. That doesn't exist there as well. You see what I'm doing here? It doesn't actually exist in the picture. But I will come back to it, and you know, with putty rubber. So you see a very peaceful, beautiful lady. She can be, you can treat it her, she's peaceful, but you can give some aggressivity by the way you draw her. She doesn't have to be aggressive, of course not. But I want, to be honest, I don't know what I want. No, I know what I want. I'm joking. Well, I want a combination of, you know, I want many things in life, but you can only achieve so far or so much. And I think we can. So I want a drawing, which is figurative, but expressive at the same time, like Zin Lim. I don't know what he says about his drawings, and I never heard him speak, and I don't even know how, but I think by watching his drawings, I think that's what he's after as well. He achieved it, so it's time for me and us to achieve that. Unless you're going for a different path, which is realism, total realism, and that's absolutely great, and I'm all behind that. And why not? We can get there. It just needs more time and effort. But the combination of realism, a figurative, like I'm doing here, drawing with some abstract notions like this, I think it's a good marriage of not convenience and not inconvenience. It's just a good marriage. Just dark here. Okay, I think I've got some, or the basis of it. Now I can get a little bit more specific with those darks, and then non-darks and darks and all this stuff. So a little bit lighter here on the skin tone, lighter here as well. That works better like this, you see. And this hand is, if you squint your eyes, you will see in the picture, it's completely lost on the shadows of the column. So voila, there we are. Now let's start with some digging. And what I mean by that, white digging here, just the whites of the canvas here, digging. Get them out again, because we're missing them now, and we need volume to come back to these places. folds. Now there are some beautiful line here on the fold, on the golden fold here, this one's, yes, and a little bit, this is very bright. Her left shoulder is really bright here. And this as well. And this also goes really, really bright here. Okay, moving the elbow down. That's it. And sharpening again my charcoal. Sorry for the noise, but it's necessary. See what I'm doing? I'm narrowing her hand. I don't want her to look like a girl. She's got a really good life here, so I don't want her to look like she's worked in the garden a lot and make some beautiful muscles. So I want her to be a little bit more delicate here. Okay. And then here, some highlights on the golden here, and then gold here, and then bringing back these areas. You see that I've said to you that I've excluded them from light, but now I can bring them back like this. Now you see, and yes, get that light a little bit. Look, now that doesn't exist there, but I'm giving it two dark, very, very dark lines. Again, it's an experiment that I'm doing with myself here. Experimenting here. I think that works good. It's a good combination of, you know, my decision and what I see here. Let me go a little bit more there. Yes, you can see the progress, and that goes a little bit darker there. Now the column, you can give it a little bit of a thought, a second thought here. Just, I think we could go again here and do some a bit more round. This is the basing of the column. That's it. And then you have, there we are. That's a good one. And sharper, actually less sharp here. A little bit more of an edgy line. That will help because everything is being rounded, and you have this which contradicts this rounded bit. It's a kind of, again, different approaches and different textures. Just again, the more textures you introduce, the more interesting it becomes. But then, hold on, because there's a risk with that. Because yes, you can introduce many textures, but then there's no cohesiveness in between. So that you can treat it differently here and different there, and it's every bit and every corner is different. So there is a need to be a continuation of it. So it's not like random words here and there. There needs to be a speech, so people know what you're saying. And a little bit of the shoulder here. Okay, I think it's okay. You get the gist of it. And this hand needs to be a little bit more active, in the meaning that I can see what's going on with this thumb, because this has gone into obscurity there. So bring it back a bit. And that middle finger, ring finger, that's it. So I think with a little bit of putty, getting that sharp edge here, just bringing that back into life. I need to get closer. So if I get closer like this, then you cannot see what I'm doing. So I need to be careful of, there you are, one. index, middle, and ring finger. See, that's enough. But they don't have to be white or bright like this. They're not only light, they have to be an outline. I know they're moving this way, but I've done them that way. You see, that's another change that I've done here. They are like this in the picture, but I've done them like this. So they're like this, but I've done it like this. Okay, it doesn't really matter. That's another thing you can do. Again, change it to suit your narrative. And as I said to you, I don't want to be totally faithful of what I see. With brush. That's a good one. Soften all these. But then on the other hand, you have to be aware that this darken here, it doesn't have to be, or not as dark as the drapery here. So you keep an eye on that. And also there. Okay. Well, what could I do here? Get a little bit darker on the front of her face. So here we are. She's looking towards her right. And then I can darken this background here. There we are. That softens everything. Gives a little bit of a break there with that dark. And also bring the neck a little bit further in. And the ear, just bring the ear a little bit further up or out, like this, brighten it up a little. There we are. And then you can know that she's looking, because the ear has got that movement or that direction, and you know that she's looking towards her right. She's got a bit like that is that geishas, the Japanese? This line here, which is keeping her hair intact. Okay. A little bit sharp here, sharper the light here. And then this one. And then the half tone here. There we are. That's a good half tone because that's the shoulder and that's the muscle. That's the difference. That's the shoulder and that's the muscle. Okay, and a little bit of the spine, which is something like this. A little bit darker here in the middle, and then a transparent tone here. A little bit more transparent, and get rid of this because it's too confusing, so get rid of that. That's it. Softer. Again, not need for every, or not need for a lot, or for a lot of information that I see there. Just a tiny light here. That's enough to give a continuation of the light coming that way, illuminating her upper arm. Elbow, sorry, not arm, elbow. There we are. And highlight here on her drapery. And some highlight here. See, there's not as bright down here, but because it helps me to sharpen up her bum here, give her that beautiful, beautiful, see, movement. Then I lighten it a lot more, highlight it a lot more. Drapery. But it should be in the context of a wider shadow. So I don't want the drapery to be too in your face here, too dark or too intricate or too obvious. Let's put it this way. Too obvious, less obvious. Less is more sometimes. Okay, and here we are. Oops. Sudden moves. Oh, sorry. It's my handle, which is. Further back, there. And yeah, this hand is all in shadow. All of it is in shadow. So let's do that. It's part of the background. So it is there, but it's not there. Do you see what I mean? Is and it's not. To be or not to be. So it's very ambiguous, yes. But it's important to be, even though it's to be there, even just as a mark. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. I hope you are the same. I can do a lot more to it, but this, again, it will be a totally different thing then. It will not be a gesture drawing, it will be a study. That's better. A bit darker there. And here as well. What if I lose that? Let's see. That's not too bad. See, I was dreading it. It's not too bad if I take that and move it down where the light is. Look, it's not too bad. It just gives her a bit more color, which is really good because I can highlight that here. It makes her basically more sun worshipper. And here as well. That's nice, I like that. And then I lose that here. You see, I like that light here, but then I can move it back or lose it there and then bring it back here. You see, these are things you can do with your own initiative. They're not there, you'll see, but you can use them to your own advantage. That's nice. And there as well, a bit more dark, a bit more shadow here. And then here as well. And what if I highlight that shadow here underneath. It's not there again. I'm just doing it myself. It's my own initiative, and I think it does work. Yes. Yes or no? Depends. Yes or no? Depends. Depends. I think it's okay. Always can get better, but then slowly we can move to something more daring. So let's go with what we can control for the time being, and then you can go a little bit more daring. Let's say put a lot more darks or less darks, change even more the reality of the drawing in front of you. But I think this is a good enough start for now. Okay, now what's going on here? Yes, can give it a little bit of a, see, there you are. And there. Same on here. So there's a consistency. Lines this way, lines that way. And then I can, again, what did I say earlier on? It's consistency, it's important. So it looks like it's the same person who's drawn from the beginning till the end. It was not somebody else who joined the process. Okay, I think it's good. Now, today is the 9th. Yes, the 9th again. 9th. See you in the next one.